Modales, adapting driver behavior for lower emissions. Modales is a European Union-funded project running from 2019 to 2022, aimed at reducing air pollution from all types of road vehicles by encouraging adoption of low-emission driving behavior and good maintenance practices. It targets reducing emissions not only from the vehicle exhaust for both petrol and diesel vehicles, but also particle emissions from the brakes and tyres. Reducing such emissions helps improve air quality. It reduces wear and tear on vehicle components, as well as fuel use, so saving the driver money. Modales proposes a user-centric approach by researching, developing and testing a number of innovative and complementary solutions. These include a smartphone app to help drivers reduce their emissions. This will be accompanied by the present short online training session. The differences between LDVs and taxis compared to private cars are the professionalism of the driver and the types of trips made. A taxi driver spends around 8 hours per day behind the steering wheel. This makes him or her knowledgeable, experienced, and the positive impact of a behavioral change, such as the adoption of low-emission driving, generates big environmental benefits. Similarly, drivers of LDV spend many hours a day driving their vehicle, and they probably know the best routes, the congested moments, and the road characteristics. Nevertheless, both users are forced to follow some routes because of their job. For instance, a taxi client may want to go to an area which is very congested at the time. Also, both users cannot decide on the weight they carry on the vehicle, as it is given by the client's requirements. Checking tyre air pressure and regular tyre maintenance such as rotation, alignment and inspections can help you to save money. It can extend the life of your tyres so you don't have to replace them as often. Simple things like checking your tyre pressure to make sure that they are properly inflated can make a real difference in how long your tyres last. Under or overinflated tyres don't wear evenly and won't last as long. For example, a tyre that is consistently 20% underinflated can last 20% less. This means that a tyre that should normally last 40,000 kilometers would be worn out by 32,000 kilometers. Also, since the front and rear axles and right and left sides of your car wear down your tyres differently, rotating your tyres regularly between the different positions will ensure that they wear evenly and last longer. Checking your tyre pressure to make sure that they are properly inflated can save you money on fuel. Underinflated tyres are one of the biggest causes of using excess fuel. Underinflated tyres have higher rolling resistance, which means that it takes more effort from the engine to move your vehicle. Keeping tyres inflated to at least the pressure recommended by the manufacturer can reduce fuel consumption by up to 4%. Keeping tyres properly inflated can have a positive effect on fuel emissions, the state of the tyres, and safety. When it comes to safety, tyres are one of the most important components of your vehicle. Check your tyres at a petrol or service station or at home at least monthly, and also before a big trip. Follow the manufacturer's guidelines on the optimal pressure level. Professional driving will have to face days with different loads, as taxis may find clients with or without luggage, and vans may have to deliver heavy items. Thus, the emphasis for that group of users would be in the personal belongings and not the load in general. Keeping unnecessary loads in the trunk can have a big impact on the fuel consumption and the tyre and brake emissions. It is important to keep in mind that drivers driving for long routes may have some belongings in the vehicle in case problems occur, and this is recommended to be in the car. For LDVs, unloading heavier loads first would save emissions drastically. Professional drivers, even if they must drive to a congested area, will often have the local knowledge to find less congested routes to get to their destination. Traffic, sudden stops, accelerations, and steep slopes will increase both fuel consumption and emissions. It is always a good practice to choose the most appropriate route before traveling. Navigation systems can provide the best options, taking the traffic and road conditions into consideration. Especially for LDV drivers, distance optimization and delivery of heavier goods first whenever possible can reduce pollution. Warning lights on the vehicle's dashboard can be translated as a malfunction which can cause higher emissions. The engine and the oil malfunction lights are the most common indications that in case of a malfunction can increase fuel consumption or emission levels. When such indications are on, check the vehicle in a garage the soonest possible. A daily check would be preferred before starting the working journey, as problems are less likely to occur during trips. Use an up-to-date navigation system to bypass congested routes and avoid idling. An onboard computer may help to save time by selecting the most efficient routes. Use devices such as an onboard computer to monitor fuel consumption. If possible, keep out of congested areas and find an alternative motorway solution, with the agreement of the customer, rather than driving through the city centre. This might take a few minutes longer, but will reduce fuel consumption and wear on the brake linings, clutch plates and gearbox, all while minimising driver fatigue and reducing the risk of accidents. When choosing a route on the navigation system, have in mind the route slope, the congestion levels and similar factors should be taken into consideration where different routes are available at a comparable distance. Thinking about so many parameters is not easy and requires some effort. However, it can impact emissions a lot. Traffic, sudden stops, accelerations and steep slopes will increase both fuel consumption and emissions. It is always a good practice to choose the most appropriate route before travelling. Navigation systems can provide the best options, taking the traffic and road conditions into consideration. There are several navigation applications in the market that can give options on the fastest or environmentally friendlier routes. When all the other factors remain the same, the route with the least slope and the fewest bends should be chosen. Navigation routing providers can assist drivers to select the environmentally friendlier route. This applies mostly on mountainous areas. Urban environments require more acceleration and deceleration. Driving on highways, the driver can keep a steady speed, avoiding acceleration and sudden braking. Especially for repetitive routes, the fastest and less congested roads are preferable on a daily basis. Resistance from rough asphalt or rough road characteristics in general can increase emissions. A good asphalt road without potholes can lead to less pollution and extend the vehicle's lifespan. Tyres and exhaust emissions can be decreased, while the car suspension can last for a longer period of time. Choose well-maintained roads wherever possible. Guidelines related to driving behaviour for professional drivers of taxi and LDVs are included in the training. The driving behaviour part is considered very impactful on the reduction of emissions, and it has to take flexibility of professional drivers into consideration. The actions a driver might take to reduce emissions include: the eco-driving mode is the easiest way to improve the environmental impact of your driving without changing behaviour or following additional steps. This option is available in most modern vehicles and can reduce emissions drastically by limiting extreme accelerations and high RPMs, revs per minute. The option can work when the car has installed that mode and it does not interfere in the daily work of taxi and delivery vehicles. Modern engines generally do not need to be warmed up. Start the vehicle and gently drive away immediately. Prolonged idling increases emissions and wastes fuel. Turn the engine off when idling for more than 30 seconds. If possible, keep out of congested areas and find an alternative motorway solution rather than driving through the city centre. This might take a few minutes longer, but will reduce fuel consumption and wear on the brake linings, clutch plates and gearbox, all while minimising driver fatigue and reducing the risk of accidents. As drivers spend most of their time driving in urban areas, frequent stops may occur due to traffic lights, crossings, etc. Some drivers might speed up, but this has to be avoided, especially when the engine is cold. It is important to be aware of the safety issues about that practice and the lost impact on total travel time in the city. The vehicle usually emits exponentially when a more extreme driving style is followed, resulting in higher emissions, while this can also be dangerous. Follow the rotations per minute, RPMs, the manufacturer indicates as most efficient, depending on the engine type and vehicle's model, and maintain a modest and stable speed for better results. Follow the gear change indicator for a correct upshift or downshift speeds. It is important to make drivers aware of the safety issues about that practice and the strong impact on emissions. A conservative driving style without abrupt transition in the vehicle speed will lead to lower emissions, as high accelerations are often followed by intense braking. Do not drive faster than 30 km per hour with the windows open. Driving with the windows open at high speeds increases aerodynamic drag on the vehicle and increases fuel consumption. Remove anything that makes the vehicle less streamlined. Usually, taxis and Ldv will drive in urban areas in which speed is already limited. Nevertheless, a reminder that wind affects emissions due to friction is possible. This is especially relevant for Ldvs because when they carry heavy loads, the vehicle tends to accelerate, forcing the intensity of braking. As they spend much of their time in their cars, professional drivers of taxis and Ldvs will most likely be driving with the air conditioning on, thus windows should not be open while the air conditioning system is on. Use heating and air conditioning selectively to reduce the load on the engine. Decreasing use of the air conditioner can reduce fuel consumption by 10 to 15%. Park your vehicle in the shade instead. The maintenance of vehicles such as taxis and light-duty vehicles should be followed by authorized garages, while the driver should check the vehicle regularly for malfunctions, the engine oil level, etc. Do not ignore illuminated dashboard warning lights in your car. A survey of 2,000 UK adults revealed that almost half fail to immediately address the alerts, with many neglecting them out of laziness. It was found that 46% ignore a warning light on the dashboard of their car. This is the case even if the warning light is red to signify it as a serious issue that needs immediate action. Especially in case of a red indicator, stop the vehicle at a safe place, turn off the engine, and look into the manual for the technical problem associated with the warning. Call a garage for further instructions. Engine overheating is a typical example that might cause serious engine wear, which can lead to reduced engine efficiency and fuel combustion. By continuing to use the vehicle when a warning light is telling not to, you risk causing more damage to your engine, and you could see repair costs increasing dramatically. Vehicles that are serviced by competent repair and maintenance professionals have a detailed record for each visit, and this record is accessible by any other authorized dealer in the same country. However, it is advised that you keep your own record by either filling in the service book or by having another file. The record should contain all maintenance jobs carried out on a specific day, including the vehicle mileage. Engine tuning is not necessary in most cases. It is done because of engine output increase and thus increase in vehicle top speed and acceleration. However, ask yourself whether your vehicle is truly made for achieving much higher engine output than the original one. Engine tuning requests modifications to the air intake system, air filter is usually the part that is replaced, fuel injecting, and exhaust gases control. All of them, by definition, will increase the vehicle's emissions. However, the irreversible problem is the engine wear. Engines are designed to perform under certain power and torque characteristics. For example, bearings in the engine have been chosen to rotate or withstand pressure to certain limits. By tuning the engine, these limits are exceeded, and a mechanical failure could happen sooner than expected by the manufacturer and many times with a larger engine damage. All those recommendations are a result of research done in the framework of the Modales project. You should always care firstly about safety and use those recommendations wisely wherever applicable to protect the environment by decreasing your vehicle's footprint. Further information about Modales, its activities, the partners and recent news is available at modales-project.info.